What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. G, back at it here with actually a new segment. We are doing it's called King's Court. We are doing ranking of kings discussion, and with my two guests today, I have my boy White Hus.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, White Hus, and also
Lord.
newcomer Verdi.
What's up, guys?
Yo, thank you, Verdi. Thank you guys for joining me. I know I had just finished this series recently, so I wanted to talk about it. And I know White House, you were one of the few people that put me onto it as well. So like, I know we definitely wanted to talk about it. So why don't
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah. It's
put it
funny
on?
because Vert put me on, so it's like a triangle. Because Vert and another buddy of mine were just telling me like, "Yo, you gotta watch this anime." And my homeboy out here, he's like the guy I watch a lot of anime with, and he knows, all the he's also a lot of manga too recently. So he's like, "Yo, you just got you have to." Vert told me, and I'm like, you know what? These two niggas, and Vert has put me onto a lot of shit in the last like 6 months. And I feel like this guy just puts, and whenever he puts me on something, I always finish it, and I'm like, that was crazy. He didn't miss. And and I feel like he gets my taste pretty well now. Vert tells me to read or watch something. It's on a fast to actually reading or watching. So I picked it up. It was on episode 17 when I started, and I caught up in 2 days while I had school.
Oh man.
So yeah, I was fiending, dude. I was fiending. So yeah, that's how I got into it.
And also shout outs to my close friends. They also, if they're watching, they also got me into it. Kevin, Pam, y'all put me on this too. I don't want to discredit them in any way.
Of
Cause
course.
they, yo,
So
they
you're
kept they be pushing it, bro. They were like, "Yo, you have to watch this shit. This shit is too good."
and you get it now, right? Like
Oh,
they
dude,
weren't pushing hard enough, if
nah,
anything.
bro, no one is talking about this anime enough. They're like, this
It makes no
anime,
sense, bro.
yo,
It was
this shit is,
unfortunate release time. It released at the same time as the new Demon Slayer and Attack on
bro.
Titan. I firmly believe if it wasn't that situation, this would be the top talked about anime right now.
Oh,
If it
easily,
didn't release at
easily.
the same
Yeah,
time as those two.
yeah. It's just way too. It's just we'll talk about how good it is. But first, so your brother put you on?
Yeah. My brother, he sent me a trailer a couple weeks before like the first episode aired, and I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh yeah, this shit looks dope." But I just generally don't like watch anything
Okay.
for a while, and then he was like, "Nah, you gotta watch it." And I went through one of my rare days when I'm like, I just feel like watching TV today. And so I watched it, and then you could ask us in my server. I just became like the biggest Boji shill. I was showing this to everybody and anybody who would listen. Like, yo, you gotta watch this shit. It's amazing. Blah
Yeah.
blah. I just want to talk about it. Um, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's way too good, and it worked out, man. I was thinking, I know IRM is feeling like we pushed it a bit much, but that's what I was doing too. I was telling my dogs, and some got into it, some didn't. AKA some heated lessons, some were scrubs, but it's all good.
It'd be like that, yo. Some people are
Truly.
cultured, some people are not. I mean, it just be
Yeah,
like that,
man.
you know.
They know not what they don't. You know what I'm saying? Like they're ignorant.
Exactly.
It's not their fault. You know what I'm
Not
saying?
their fault. I mean, yo, like,
I'm not wrong.
but I didn't realize because I have not been like been keeping up with anime lately. Like
Mhm.
I'll have my series here and there, but to keep up with the anime seasons, so I completely forgot that both Demon Slayer and Attack on Titan were coming out during that time when this was
Yep.
coming out. That's crazy. That's crazy competition. I mean,
Yeah.
like you got well, supposedly it was the final season of Attack on Titan, but it wasn't. But it
Hey,
We're
oh
gonna
wasn't.
get
my
final
god.
season part
Lies,
3.
lies. And then you also have season two of what of Demon Slayer. So, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. And,
I
and and they all popped off too. So
it's true. It's true. They all did. And
Well, two of
you
those did. Yeah.
oh
yeah. That's why I meant those two. When I said all, I meant Demon Slayer and AOT because, like you said, they're in
Oh
the
no.
final season of AOT, right? Oh, you mean that? Oh, you're a fucking hater. Never
Yeah, I
mind.
was taking. I
This
was
he's
guy
taking.
hate
Bert
I was
the
he's
telling this
fucking.
guy.
He's
hating.
a hater. He's a hater. Yeah, I remember this guy's a hater. You know what? We're not here to talk about Demon Slayer. We're talking about Ranking
I,
King. So
I,
anyway, but
I
yeah,
had
so
to get
those,
that in.
so it's all good, you, bro. Those were in there like the most hype because Demon Slayer just came off the movie, which generated so much hype, and then AOT's
Yes.
final season supposedly, it was really a tough time. But niggas who watched it know Rankings was the best anime this year.
Oh,
And you know
yeah.
what? Also, I think uh it didn't get robbed of like the views. I think tons of people watched it and like it. And like anytime I go to like some server, some page, someone notices my PFP and they're like, "Oh shit, Boji, that's the GOAT, blah blah this and that."
Boji.
But I think Demon Slayer and Attack on Titan being on at that time robbed it of the everyone's watching it at the same time thing that gets like all the discussion. You know what I mean? Because you'd see like 1 week you'd see 1 or 2 people talking about it on Twitter, like this is dope, and no one knows what they're talking about. And then the next week, this other set of people watched it, and so that's
like
what it really
trickling
did.
down, right? You know, like
Yeah.
And that also like brings me like to the fact that they haven't actually announced the season 2 yet. And I feel like
Nope.
because of those views being taken away from those other top animes that were coming out at the same time, it kind of like hopefully I'm hoping we get a season 2. The way that the series season 1 ends is, there's definitely a whole lot more to it, and I definitely want more, but
Yeah.
but you never know. With series like this, because of the viewership, it didn't lack thereof, or what say you, it could cause it to not get picked up. But I hope that is not the case.
Yeah, what I heard is that it's actually basically caught up almost to where the manga is, and
Oh,
that's
okay.
why there's nothing like really like to animate yet. But I definitely get the feel that this is like a prologue, more to like the story begins from here. Like the real story is
100%.
Kage and
Oh,
Boji. Like there's like a golden age, or like the prologue for Villain Saga. Like what that is, it's like really the setup for the real story. That's
oh,
like
Yeah.
the vibe I kind of get.
that's what's up. That's
Yeah,
what's up.
I think I didn't want to know because I hate having expectations. But what I think about the amount of manga chapters, I think there's like hundreds of chapters at least, right? But
It's
it's
12
hard to.
volumes. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is that it's the the amount that's translated is like only a bit past the anime, I think. So there is a good bit left in the manga. But what I think is that it also has to do with the studio that picked it up, right? And I definitely want to talk about the studio because what I didn't know until like the last episode was that it's Wit Studio that does it. And Wit Studio did AOT season 1 through 3 and Vinland
Mm.
Saga, right? Um,
Oh, okay, okay.
so they have a crazy track record, right?
They do that. That's OD.
But they also gave up AOT, and also Vinland Saga is being done by Mappa now in season 2. So I'm kind of concerned about the studio itself. You know what I'm saying? Like, are these guys good? You know what I'm saying? Is everything go? So I
Yeah, that
don't know.
sucks. Because that animation, honestly, like looking at the trailer and like the first like I don't know, of the 22 minutes of the first episode, the first 20 of them, you're like, yeah, this animation is cool, whatever. Until you get into like a fight scene,
Yep.
like at the end of the first episode,
Yep. Yep.
and
Yep.
I was like immediately, I was like, these are the best fight scenes I've seen since Vinland Saga, Thorkel versus Thorfinn. Thorfinn.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That was like the since then I hadn't seen an anime this well animated like fight scenes. Like in which surprised me because the art style is kind of like almost like a Steven Universe. Like it doesn't look like an anime.
Well,
It looks like a Western cartoon.
it does.
That's the first thing, right? That's the first thing that jumps
Yes.
out to you when you watch it.
Like
Yep.
it gives me, like you said, Steven Universe vibe, Shira, Adventure Time,
Yeah,
freaking
and some Ghibli.
Rick and Morty. Because some of the, like, if you look at some of the characters, they look like, there's one guy really looked like fucking Birdman from Rick and Morty, which I was just like,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you're talking
The
about,
dude with the is his name Apis
yeah,
with the
him.
spear.
Yep,
Uh,
exactly.
and then
that bitch ass nigga.
Ooh,
and his
speaking of
Boji's
haters,
brother. Boji's brother. What's his name again?
um,
damn,
fuck, we're scrubs. We are all
Joffrey. I
scrubs.
call him Joffrey,
That's
bro.
terrible. Yeah, but he looks like Lemon Grab because he
He
got the
does.
same
He
nose.
does look. That's true. Damn.
Yeah.
No, White House. You gotta be on top of that, bro. Come on.
I gotta be on top of it.
He's a
Yeah,
knowledge guy, bro. He's a knowledge.
you know the exact number of chapters and everything. Come on, bro. You
Yeah,
gotta know.
yo.
Yo, this guy just watched it.
That's true.
I just said I call him Joffrey, bro. That's the vibe he was
Bro.
giving me at first.
Daida, it's Daida,
Pulling
it's
up the wiki.
Daida.
I'm
Daida.
pulling up the wiki.
I know it's
Daida.
Daida. I found it for it's
Uh,
Daida. Yeah,
I was
I was
testing you
disrespectful
on
because
that.
that's actually one of my favorite characters.
no, at first he was Joffrey, but then he changed.
Yeah,
Like
he's
he
scrub.
definitely,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I was like, nah, you don't deserve that name, bro. Like that name is Daida.
Well,
Yo, you were OD.
at
Yeah,
the
I
Like,
same
agree.
time, and this is, I don't know if we should even jump this far ahead. Are we doing spoilers here? We don't care about
oh
spoilers.
no, we're
Oh,
just
definitely, we're definitely talking about spoilers.
yeah. This is just a
All right, cool.
whole
And I know what
series.
you're gonna bring up, but I do maybe
Yeah.
think we should keep it a little bit later. You know what I'm saying?
All
Let's
right,
start
cool,
with
cool.
what.
So I
Yeah,
won't
but I
jump.
know whatever I say, I probably agree though.
All right, right.
Yeah.
Before we go further, let's start from the beginning, right?
All right.
Main character, Prince Boji, Bojji. one of the best MCs in the world, and didn't have to say anything. Did not have
Not a
like,
word, bro.
you know,
Not
he's
a word.
I,
straight.
I,
You know, like just giving me that Link vibe from Zelda, bro. Like he's straight up
Yeah.
Link, just
yeah.
making the noises and stuff. Yo, Boji is ridiculous. And then you also have his best friend Kage, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, those are the two main characters of the story, and they both go through like crazy arcs. But yo, Boji left me fucking speechless, bro. Like,
Every big scene of Boji, man, I'm an emotional guy when it comes to media and watching stuff. You know,
Mhm.
I
me
Me
too.
I'll
too.
be well, my eyes get a little watery sometimes. Me
Oh,
too,
my
bro.
eyes get
But
OD
this I
watery,
was
yo. I'm like,
this show I was full on just shedding tears in my room, bro. If
Oh
someone walked
yeah.
in if someone walked in and needed something from me when I was watching Rankings, some episodes where they'd be like, "Yo, are you okay, dude?"
Yeah.
like, no, I'm not, because Boji's not. You know what I'm saying?
oh,
It's
Um,
bro.
funny. I watched. I started One Piece last summer.
Ooh, nice.
The anime, and I just watched like Drum Island a couple months before Ranking of Kings, and
Okay,
yep.
Chopper's like my favorite character, and that shit I was balling during that whole arc.
bro,
I love that little guy,
bro.
and this
Drum.
was like that
Oh my.
concentrate. This
Yes.
was like Drum Island concentrated. That's what
Yeah.
like this Ranking of Kings gives me that feel.
So
Um,
what? The main reason why Boji, he's mute, he's deaf, right? He could read people's lips, but people don't know that he has no strength really because it was taken away from him, and he's got fucking these adorable puppy eyes that like yo, and not just that, but the resilience that this little guy fucking has is ridiculous. He knows the fact that he could read lips. He knows what people are saying about him to him, and they think they could get away with it because he's deaf and everything like that. But he sees that shit and he holds that shit in, bro. And when you see it in the first episode, when you see him crying in his room, and Kage sees that, yo, that shit got me, bro. I was like, yo, Boji is OD, bro. OD. Like,
and
Right.
also through all that shit, I think this is really his superpower. Forget about like the powers he has later,
yeah,
but like the real superpower of the character as a character is that through all that shit, he maintains kindness. He doesn't get
kindness.
angry,
Yep, yep. That's
doesn't
true.
hate, he
That's
doesn't
true.
become negative, which he totally should, has every reason to. He's bullied, he's shunned, he's like belittled all the time, and he still treats, he sees like injustice, he wants to like take care of that. Like he's just kind, a kind person and wants
Yeah,
to take care of others, and
yep.
that's all that matters to him.
No, 100%, man. And I think you know what's funny. I actually think that's like the broader point of the show, honestly. Um, like there's one thing I noticed when when I'm going through, especially at the beginning, right? He has this teacher, Domas, who's helping him and shit. He's putting in work with him. And then him they go on an adventure, right? And Domas is talking about how, oh man, I gotta protect the prince. I have so much hope for him. Blah blah. Blah. He seems like this real nigga, right? And then he pushes him off into the ravine.
Whoa, that shit blew me, bro. I was
Like
not.
the end of episode 4, like I was like, okay, I'm fully in. It's over. I'm here till the end. You know what I'm saying? Like, 'cause I gotta like this. I didn't think it would be this kind of anime. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't think it would be an anime where niggas do this backstabbing and
It's
murder shit.
Yo, turn real
it's a
Game of
children's
Thrones
book
real
for
fast.
adults.
It's
It's like a children's book for adults, for real.
Yeah. That's one of the best ways to describe it. It really caught me off guard. And I think that's like one of the best ones to show in that like you have to really take time to understand the characters because you don't know who anyone is until the very end. You
it,
know.
bro. It just like it gave me like I was saying Game of Thrones vibes. I'll never forget like the episode that got me hooked on Game of Thrones was when Ned Stark got his head chopped off,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh, they killed
Same.
Boromir! No,
Yeah.
like this motherfucker always dying. But Sean Bean, shout out to Sean Bean, always has some epic deaths, especially But it gave me that type of vibe, like the moment, like because Domas has been training, has been training Boji for the longest, right?
Hmm.
To be a sword master, and for him to just come and just push him off the cliff, yo, that shit was OD. And then the rest of his arc is him, uh, trying to get that like trying to redeem himself from doing that. But like, I don't know, bro. Did he really? I don't think so.
I was gonna say I hope we get to see more of that
Yeah,
that relationship. Because they really did, when I remember that at the bottom of the castle, when the people from Underworld are coming, and he sees Domas there, Boji sees Domas, and it terrifies him, right?
He had some
They
And
did that so
PTSD.
well.
they did it
They
so
showed
right,
the conflict in his face so well.
it hurt me to see that. It's like, dude, I don't want Boji to feel this confliction, so I hope that, because they handled that really well. But then after that, there wasn't much of Boji and how he felt towards the situation. It was a lot of Domas trying to put himself on the line for Boji to prove, how much he wants to atone. So I hope later on, Domas gets more of an arc with Boji. I'm sure it'll deliver.
Yeah,
That's what I like about the show. I believe in it.
definitely. But like, man, you really don't know all the characters like until like you see the whole thing. Because at first,
Oh, like Hilling. You think she's a rat, only
bro,
worried about her own son. But yo, she's like one of the realest in the whole show,
she
bro.
was,
Oh
she
yeah,
was.
bro.
What was her name? Helena, Hilda,
Healing,
Hilling,
healing,
Hilling.
Healing.
healing, healing, healing.
It's
Yeah.
dude. It's a play on words for healing, right?
Oh, fair.
Oh,
Oh, wow,
duh.
damn. I didn't even realize
Yeah,
that.
I didn't know that. I didn't know it until
Crazy.
episode 24, bro. I
Oh
was like,
shit.
wow.
Yo, but okay, so she's the queen, right? And we
Yeah.
also have Boji's dad, who's the king. Boji's dad is dying,
Oh
and
my god.
and
Fuck
then
that
he
nigga.
doesn't. Yeah, agreed. He dies in what, episode 2, 3,
Something like
Yeah,
that.
like
Two or
like
three.
like like yeah, like 2 or 3. Yeah.
around there, right? And he declares Boji to be the king. And what do the people in the court do? The queen, people that Boji thought had his back, yo, they said nah.
He's
Prince
too
Dida's
weak.
gotta be king. Yo, he's too weak. And bro, like that shit crushed me, bro. And then going back to it, like to that moment, you start seeing more of like as you watch the series, you see more of the past between Healing and Boji, and I'm you think she thinks she's doing it for the right reasons to protect him, but in actuality, he's hurting him and holding him back to what he's meant to do.
Hmm.
Oh, dude, it's fantastic because I like when shows like not misconstrue, but like they give you like an idea of a person of what they are at first because of the actions that they take. But then when you see like their past, you see like why they took those actions. Like they were in what they thought was correct. They were doing what is right for the person. Like uh, Daida, he wants to protect Boji. He took it too far, and also he was influenced by the mirror. But like uh, in the end of it, he just wants to protect his older brother because he knows his older brother is incapacitated. But in actuality, he's not. Yo, his older brother's fucking OD. OD.
Yeah. Though he's the one who orders Domas at the beginning to
He did.
to
He
kill
did.
Boji.
He did. That's why I was just like, but that influence is definitely coming from the mirror, though. You know
For
what I
sure,
Yeah.
for
mean?
sure.
Yeah.
So
But
I'm like,
he
oh
doesn't
man,
have no responsibility for that. He's still
Yeah, I was
no,
gonna say even about Queen Hilling, in that, like, she, in the end, she, like, we know that she's a real one and she was always what she was trying to be, but that doesn't absolve her of how badly she treated him.
she did
Uh,
no, 100%, 100%.
She
mhm.
also
Yeah.
clearly, like, we only saw the bad parts, and there were also good parts and good moments between them. Obviously, like
Yeah,
in the
Yeah,
past
yeah, yeah,
to that
yeah.
point, we only saw that point where she was like, "You need to get your shit together," or whatever, whatever.
Yeah, yeah. So, and even like just saying the kind of shit that she was saying, like, when she didn't think he could read her lips, and clearly, like, it wasn't something she wanted him to hear, right? So it's as much as she's a real one, she's not perfect, and no one in the show is, right? Except my
no,
guy
for
Bojack
sure.
Mm-hmm.
Horseman right there. Um, but yeah, that's really what I like about the show, and like someone like the King, for example, where that guy is a fucking villain. I feel like I'm not gonna lie, that guy is like one of the worst people in like a
Boss,
show that I've seen.
yeah,
Boss,
he
yeah, yeah,
it's funny because he's also like more complex than just a bad guy. He's
Yeah,
not just
agreed.
like pure evil. Like
no,
his
no, yeah,
motivations aren't 100% selfish, and you could tell he also genuinely. He's not gonna let that stop him getting what he wants, but he also clearly genuinely loves Boji.
Yeah,
Um,
but
he
that
doesn't want
moment,
the best for him,
no,
but
no,
he cares for him and admires him.
yeah. Yeah, and even in the end, he acknowledged that Boji was the one that was more fit to be king than Daida, because Daida was a piece of shit,
Yo,
right?
Yeah.
And Daida was like, man, I was watching the show with my buddy, and towards the end, and it's when Daida is in the like his own world or whatever after Boss takes his body, and um, he sees Mirangel being tortured by the villagers, and my buddy was like he was so I was quick to like forgive, like I was quick to understand Dida. You know, I'm like, yo, when he was in the walking through the town, and he was saying, oh, I would kill myself before I became crippled like that old man, right?
yeah,
He was saying some super fucked up shit, but
he
man,
was.
kids say fucked up shit and think fucked up shit, right? But that's how you grow and you learn from it, you know. And I think that's pretty admirable in and of itself. The ability to be in a worse position or worse state of mind and grow from it. I think there's a lot of beauty and merit in that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I really like Dada. That he really did grow up a lot,
He
even
grew
though he
up a
wasn't.
lot, bro. He
He
grew
grew
up
up a
Mhm.
ton,
Yeah, he did.
and he
Definitely.
fucked up too. He definitely fucked up a lot, and I think that's oh my god, that's why I like the show so much. Is that like people fuck up a lot, but it shows that the most important thing is the relationships that you have that allow you to fuck up, but you have to earn the trust back and work through it all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no,
And
definitely.
parallel to that, talking about growth, was Boji. Uh, he obviously has his training arc with Despa, and we don't
Hmm.
know what his power is. And then you still think he's not going to have a real power besides dodging, because we first see a glimpse of what he can do when he fights his brother,
Yeah,
and his brother's just like he can't hit him. He's just like dodging like super
dodging
reflexes.
everything, bro, and he's giving little up
Mhm.
taps. Pop, 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 pop.
Yep, yep. But technically winning. And then
He
you
was.
see the yeah, but then you see the glimpse when he's training with Despa, and you see the Kage sees through the door that there's a giant boulder that Boji like broke in half, and he's like, "What the fuck? How'd this
Yep.
happen?"
Yo,
Yeah.
And you see that he got this little needle, a little rapier as his
as his weapon of
sword or
choice. Yep.
whatever. Yep. And then they have that little fight in the bar, and even to the point where Despa sees those guys after, you still think it's a setup and nothing really happened, but it really did. And like his power is that he can just find your weak spot and like neutralize you without like actually hurting you or killing
Bro.
you. Is super cool. And then like as he grows into that and shows his personality, his morality, and also his ability and where he stands, the people who just like decide, nah, you're the guy I want to follow. It's kind of like it reminds me a little bit of the dichotomy between Guts and Griffith and Berserk. Not
Okay.
exactly, but there's a sort of like different way of leading people.
Yeah.
Where I don't know if you guys, I know Huss is caught up on Berserk. I don't remember if you read all of it.
Oh, I did. Oh, I
Yeah,
did.
okay, there you go. And oh yeah, we talked about this. I do remember. And so like Guts in a way is forming his like own band of the Hawk
Yeah.
along the way, like in the later part of the story.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Similar way that people just gravitate towards him, but it's like the opposite of the way it was with Griffith kinda. It
Yeah.
wasn't for a grandiose dream. It wasn't everyone working just for his thing. They just ended up wanting to do it. But like with Boji, it's sort of a similar thing. You see him grow into this figure that people gravitate towards, and they see him for who he is and what he stands for, more than just like his ability. And like when the giant ogre guy Gigon like bows down to him and is like, "Yo,
I was like,
I'm your
ooh.
buddy. I got your back."
I
Yeah,
was like, the start of the Krug. Yo, the start of the
yeah.
Krug.
Yeah.
Start of the
Yeah.
Krug
And
was
when they
actually
all,
Kage at first.
yeah, for sure.
You know,
He's the
like,
first one to see and believe in him, and that's I think why he's so important to Boji, because
yep.
no one in Boji's life believed in him
No one. No
until
one.
Kage. He's the first person who was
Yeah.
like, "Yo, I believe in you. I think you're the
When
man.
when
Like
he
you
tells
got
him
something."
I'm in your corner and Boji starts crying,
Oh, you
bro.
guys are gonna make me. You guys are gonna make me
Ah,
Yo,
cry, bro.
bro, that shit was
thank God
beautiful.
my camera's off. My man be running.
But yeah,
I'm getting close to myself, not gonna lie, because that moment especially, because bro. Whenever I look for a GIF for Ranking of Kings, the GIF of Boji crying and that scene
Yeah,
always pops up. I fucking hate that shit.
with the bandages.
Yeah,
Oh, poor guy.
the worst,
Uh,
man. It's
that
the
was that
absolute
was the
worst.
pure Drum Island Chopper moment. Like
Yeah,
you're
that
my
was it was
friend.
it was waterworks at that point, man.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
And you need those low points, but to have someone in your corner like that, like first as if that's the first person to ever believe in you, and say like, yo, like, and everyone deals with some sort of uncompetent at some point in something about their life at some point, right? But as a kid like Boji, when no one is in your corner, and you have people who are kind of on your side, or Domas and shit like that.
Yeah.
But bro, this guy Domas, Domas. This is obviously before he threw him down the fucking cliff. Domas told him like, fam, that's not the swordsmanship of a king. When he was fighting
Yeah.
Zaida, and
Bro, that shit pissed me off, bro.
yo, for real, I was fucking cheese. But bro, kids need that shit. Kids need
Bro,
the
exactly.
the
Exactly.
why can't
The
the
encouragement, yo.
reinforcement and
Yes.
yeah, the encouragement and stuff, and like they really need that. And Boji's no different. You know what I'm saying? He's not some Iron Man, but it's because he has Kage that in his lowest moment that he turned that shit around. He said, bro, I think he called him his. I think he referred to him as like the light or the sun or something like that.
Yeah,
Um,
something like that.
And
oh
because
man.
Kage is a shadow. So
Yes, I, I'll like, I'm always get your back. You do your thing, you shine. I'm gonna be right here in the back line. And you never need anything. Man. Some beautiful shit, and I actually appreciate that you said the start of the crew earlier. Because I'm not gonna say too much, of course, but Luffy is that for a lot of people, right? Like that son and leading people and
Hmm.
stuff like that. It's
I was about to
man,
bring
I
that up.
wish you were caught up, Verdi. I wish you were caught up. There's so much I could say, but don't worry, my
I'm gonna be
spoiler etiquette
fully
is
real
on
with you.
100.
Don't worry. I'm not that pressed about One Piece spoilers personally. Um,
Nah, I don't even want to say that. Don't worry.
as much. No, it's fine. Yeah,
But yeah, don't worry. Even if you were, my spoiler etiquette is on 100, man. I'm one of the
yeah.
nicest niggas with that
I
shit.
mean, I
I
already
never.
He
see
is.
like
He is.
I see it with
I
Luffy
forget
already.
sometimes.
Like, I mean, through like everything from like Drum Island from the beginning, getting Zoro, Nami, all that stuff, like going out your way to help people,
Yeah.
and then they gravitate towards you not because like because you care for them,
Yeah.
not
Bro,
because of some other motive.
so
Yeah,
just like what got me into One Piece was that Luffy Nami moment when, in the Arlong Park. Like that shit, bro, that shit gets me every time. And
it
then
makes me cry every single
and
time,
and,
man.
and then it just
Um,
changed. Like Nami realized, damn, he's doing this because he cares about me. Not for no ulterior motive, not for anything else,
mm-hmm.
and like
Because it's
that
right.
shit, bro, that shit, oof. If I start
Yeah,
crying on the
and
stream,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
apologize.
and the
And
I'm not.
also the stuff
Go ahead,
with
go ahead.
Vivi.
Yes,
Sorry, no, the stuff with
yes,
Vivi when they say goodbye at the end. I mean, that shit was like
bro,
weird to like lose that character because like I mean for me that's like 80% of One Piece so far
no,
was
that's
them
fair.
with Vivi as part of
A
the
huge
crew.
percent of it, yeah.
And
But yeah, that moment when they play that the song and they're all
bro,
like showing their
Oh,
that's why
tattoos.
I believe Vivi will be coming back as a Straw Hat member in the future. Bro, you can't
there's
have
I
that
I've
possibility.
tattoo.
heard she's
You can't
appeared
make
at
that
some like government
tattoo.
meetings recently.
You can't make that tattoo, and like that bond is there,
The
bro.
X, man, yeah, and it's crazy because there are some shots that don't have the X. Isn't that crazy, bro? Oh my god.
Okay, I mean, they
But
weren't there, but if they
they
were, they
weren't
would.
right. Well, BB has it and they don't. That's what crazy. So like, I just think about sometimes. But anyway, so yeah, and I'm glad you bring up Drum Island because that's one thing that if you look at when Luffy is telling Chopper and Chopper's like, I can't come with you guys. You guys are humans. You guys are doing your own thing. You guys are your own crew, and he's like, I'm a monster, and Luffy's like,
What a
so
little
what,
boy.
bro?
Yeah.
It's so fucking what. And that reminds me of
That's
the Gigon,
cool.
like
Yeah.
you said, the drum on. Yeah, he said it was cool. He said it's cool
Yeah.
that you like that, right?
Hell
And
yeah.
that
Meanwhile,
reminds me
they're fruit brothers. I mean, but nothing, nothing.
yeah,
Never mind.
reminds me of the Gigon thing, right? What that Bert brought up earlier is that like, bro, no matter like what you went through, I get you, and Boji is deaf and he can't speak, so that's like under being ostracized is something he understands. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Mhm.
so
Yep.
that kind of being a light for people, and people wanted to organically side with you. There's a lot of parallels to that about lots about One Piece. You know what I'm
And
saying? So
and
I'm glad you brought up
Mhm.
Drumline.
and that's how we saw, and that's what we saw like on full display in Ranking of Kings,
Yeah.
because you had all these guys, all these top, uh, like the heads of like like the sword, the shield, like the top knights for the kingdom. They all betrayed, and the queen. They all betrayed Boji, right?
Mhm.
He went on to do his thing. He came back, yo. He made them all a believer, bro. He made them all believers, and they all like felt like little by little like dominoes just started like it was OD. And then what's crazy is that the early ones that saw that was the I forgot the name of the two-headed snake. Well, right,
Forget the name.
but like that like because because of Boji's kindness, saving that snake helped so
Hmm.
much into what happened in the series, and like, bro, like the
It
story
comes
is
back. Bless
so
you.
good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's so good.
And then
Hmm.
the snake's name is Mitsumata. I just searched it up,
Mitsumata.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that
And
brings
that
me to. Go ahead, Rudy.
no, you go ahead.
That brings me to like another thing about the idea of you don't know people. Is that Bebin, the guy that chased Kage in the castle, the guy that fucks with the snakes, right? Him,
Yes,
bro. That guy was a real ass nigga. He was
he
on
was.
Daida's side and he wanted Daida to be king, but he
Yes,
was still a real ass. You know when you play someone in Dragon Ball
bro.
and it's like, bro, you're on the other side, but I respect you, bro. Bebin was that nigga. He understood that he's loyal to Daida, but Boji's a good guy, a good kid, and he has potential, and he was
He
working
sent Kage with him.
exactly.
Yep.
He was in the end. A lot of the things that worked out for Boji was because of Bevin's actions. Despite wanting Daida to be king, he wasn't a he didn't fall victim to the ideas of diplomacy and royalty, where it's obviously a bloody. Remember fucking Canute from Vinland Saga, where he was talking about
Mm.
Ragnar, his caretaker, was talking about how bloody the squabble for the throne is, right? And Bevin said, "Fuck that shit. That's my guy's brother. I'm not about to leave him, to die or whatever."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, he was
Because
an
he
absolute
was
real one.
even shook by how Daida was like, kill Boji. Like he was like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, bro, what? Nigga, what's what we're doing? That's what we're doing now." Like,
yeah, like,
yeah.
yeah,
And you
people.
wouldn't expect it based on who he is, the kind of stuff that he does. That's what the anime does so perfectly. It subverts your expectations like nothing else.
It did. It did.
And
It
what's
was perfect storytelling, bro. Like, 'cause I thought
yeah,
Bevin was bad at first, like trying to kill
Yeah.
Kage. That was not the case.
yeah. And what's interesting there, like we talk about how everyone betrayed Boji early on, and then like gravitated towards him. It's the motivations that
For
are
each,
different
yeah, yeah,
for them
Mhm.
versus for Boji. What makes him different from everyone else? They do what they're supposed to for the kingdom, supposedly. Even Bebin, who like tries to still keep Boji okay,
yeah,
he's still doing what. All right, this is my job. This is my role. It's not about what I think morally. It's about what the king or queen tell me is my job. It's about the kingdom. That's more important. As Boji, he does what is right,
yeah,
what
yeah.
he thinks is the right thing. Doesn't matter who. There's no orders. There's no like I'm supposed to do this, whatever, this and that, and that peaks at the end when he decides he doesn't really want to, you know, be part of this and just wants to like go hang out with Kage and do his own adventures,
Do
build
his
his
thing.
own thing
Just like
because he could build it his way.
his pops. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and like, uh, it goes to show like, damn, I forgot what I was gonna say, bro.
That's all
Sorry.
good.
I
That's
forgot what I
sometimes.
was gonna say.
But yeah, like, and one reason I think I was super into the show was that it didn't feel like I was watching an anime. Um, and I'm a
Mm-hmm.
fucking weeb. I feel like in the last like probably 5 7 years I've watched like a ton of anime. But it's like yo, well, and I don't watch much cartoons like Adventure Time or anything like that. I'm really lacking on those. But I was like, well, this really does not feel like an anime. I feel the anime vibe sometimes about some things, but it's like, dude, it's like I was reading a book,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, definitely.
yeah, and which is what Verdi said about a children's book in an adult format and story, right? It's so beautiful, and I think another thing is that the manga apparently I've seen a few panels and it doesn't look as anywhere near as good as the anime, and I have to give Wood Studio a ton of credit for how they adapted it. That's a difficult thing to do, and but the adaptation was so good. The animation, the music, the
Music.
openings and endings, bro.
Everything incredible,
Not a
incredible.
single miss in the openings and endings, man. I know there's only four, but like these all bangers. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny? I didn't know it was Wit Studio until the very last episode, but I think on the second last episode, maybe. I don't know if it was the second last or last episode, but the one where he fights Boss,
That's the
and
third to last episode, I think.
damn, the third last episode right there.
Bro,
So
I just
that
watched
one,
it. I don't even remember. Yeah.
did you never died his name,
No,
bro?
because the
But
second to last is the controversial one.
yeah, and the
Okay.
last is
That's
like
why. And
the
the
epilogue. Yes,
one
yes, yes.
before
Yes,
that
yes.
was was with him fighting
Yeah.
Boss.
So that episode, I was when so I don't know how the manga depicts it. You know what? I'm gonna go back and read it. But the way that Daida, like you saw the image of Boss and he became huge, and the
Yeah.
visualization of him like as a giant, and Boji, running like flipping through the towers and running through and sliding underneath the windows when boss would swing his club or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I was thinking, I'm like, yo, this reminds me of AOT, like the season 2 moment, especially when they're or season
Uh
1
huh.
when they're trying to plug the rock. That episode when the scouts are just like, which
Yeah.
studio decided to flex and niggas are like, using the maneuver, going under overpasses and going through like railings and shit. That shit was legendary. So I was really getting the AOT feel for it. I'm like, whoa, this feels a lot like AOT. I feel like what studio might have done this. I didn't get the urge to search it up then, but I was watching the like last episode and I was taking it in that I finished ranking of things, and I was sitting in this chair, looking at my monitor, watching it with my niggas on VC, and I was just looking at the endings as the credits were scrolling by, and I'm just thinking, I'm like, I can't believe I finished the show. And then I saw Wit Studio in the credits. It's like, oh, it all makes sense now. Like, Wit Studio is such a fucking go-to studio. They did so many great anime. So it doesn't surprise that their adaptation of this is just beautiful, man. I feel like that's another thing that's like underrated. The story is so good, the adaptation like kind of doesn't get into focus sometimes.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's fair.
And
Top tier
they did it so
animation.
perfectly. Top tier animation. I feel like, man, I feel like it's the moment in my life where I like when I look back at March, February, 2022, I'm gonna be like, that's when I watched Breaking King. That's gonna be the
Yeah.
description of my life. That's like the description of the
Yeah.
time
It's
period
fun,
in my life.
and Hus knows. Like I really care a lot about animation and art style. Like if I don't like the art style of something, I straight won't watch it at
Yeah,
all.
Yeah,
I don't care how good the story is. I'm not watching. Berserk is my favorite thing ever. 2016, 17 anime. Fuck out of here. Never. That shit is ass. No way. I watched the first season just because I was starving. I was thirsty at the time.
of course.
Like it
yeah,
was coming out, and I was hoping every next episode. I was like, oh, maybe this one won't be as bad. Maybe they'll do more 2D later, whatever. That shit was terrible. But this shit, man, they really spared no expense. And the fight
yeah,
scenes, that one against Boss, the first one was obviously the first episode when Boji's just dodging the hits from Daida.
Yeah.
yeah.
But it was like the sixth episode or something where what's his name, bald guy, is outside the queen's chamber fighting the dogs. Chill.
Oh,
That fight was
Bro.
bananas,
yeah,
bananas,
Bro.
yeah.
completely crazy. That
That shit was
animation, and the way the
OD.
camera moves, flipping those dogs over to
Yeah,
taking
that
off
was
the metal
OG,
armor or
bro.
whatever, bananas.
Bro. Yo, that my man's got messed up, yo. My man's got messed up and still came back for more. Yo,
Bro,
he
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 smoked those
lost an
dogs.
eye, he lost a leg.
That guy is actually the only one of the few characters. It's like, bro, you know exactly who he is from the beginning. This guy was a real ass nigga. He never
Yep, yep,
switched
yep,
up. That's what I like about him.
Bro,
yep.
what?
He
Never
was
switched
he
up.
was from the start
He
of
was
the
Yeah,
queen,
OD.
an absolute
and
real one, man.
it reminds me that style animation, like the best way I could describe it, when they do slightly sketchy
Yeah.
style, because it gets like that's what I loved about One Punch Man season one more than season
Hmm.
two. I love the animation in season one, but especially like the first episode or two, like when he fights that really giant dude who's like stepping on the city,
Yeah.
and that fight, and that's this guy who directed a lot of the animation in Gurren Lagann did that, and you see some of that in Gurren
Oh,
Lagann.
yeah.
And I feel like I love that style when they get really warped and exaggerated with like stuff like Mob Psycho has tons of that.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I
In
was
their
gonna
fight
bring up
scenes.
Mob Psycho. Yeah.
I was gonna bring up
Um,
my cycle later on too, because this series kind of gave me that vibe too. Like
100%.
yeah, like oh god, so beautiful too. So just real quick, his name is Dorosh, Dorse,
Yeah, it's Dorshe. So Dorsh, but she calls him
Dorsh,
Dorushi. Yeah,
Doroshe, right? The
yeah, yeah,
big
yeah,
four. That's
Yeah,
what it
that
is.
was
The
him.
big
yeah.
four.
The big four. Those
Yep,
fucking
it was
niggas, man.
him, Apis, Domas, and who was the other guy?
Bevin,
Bepin,
Bevin.
Bepin.
Oh yeah, it
Yeah,
does. Snake Man.
yeah. I guess we can go. I
Yeah.
guess we can talk about characters now. We talked about Bevin. We talked about Domas a little bit. Obviously, just have to talk Darush. I guess we gotta talk about Apis. We gotta
Real
talk about
quick,
Apis.
I'm gonna
Sure.
run to the bathroom. I gotta pee so bad. My fault, fellas.
You're
Yeah,
good,
no,
bro.
that's
You're
all good,
Thank
good.
you.
bro.
All right. Apis, real quick, right? I did like at first that when they try to betray him, he was like, "I'm gonna go fuck up Prince damn Prince Daida for betraying Boji like that."
Yeah, yeah. He came down to
He did.
the room when they were trying to do that ceremony or whatever, and he's like, "No,
Yeah.
it's just not happening."
Yeah. Yeah.
And then obviously, Miranjo was the mirror from back in the day, um, and that
They had like a
you know,
weird connection. I wasn't
yeah,
really
and you
sure.
know what? Oh man, I wish Vert was still here because I do like. Oh my god, I'm one of the people in like when I watch anime, I give everyone a pass sometimes. I'll be like, you know what? I understand this person, blah, blah, blah. And I do understand Apis. And what is important to remember about Apis is that the guy, like when they first when he is like earlier in the show, like as in like earlier in time, like later on they show him trying to fight the Griffins because Miranjo like want to test him or whatever, and
Yeah,
he can't do it. You know, he's so scared.
yeah.
Um, and and Miranjo like she embraces him and she tells him how it's okay to be fragile and soft or whatever. And shows him how much she understands him. I understand Obvious a lot. That doesn't make him less of a bitch.
He was the one that stopped the fight in the beginning, no?
Yes, yeah, he saved Boji from dying going overboard.
Yeah.
He threw his spear or some shit like that. But yeah, so like I do understand him, but man, like in the end, he just man, it's like bro, Mirage had way too much of a hold over him. But I do get it. It's not
No,
unrealistic to
yeah. I
be in
mean,
love.
because she gave him that encouragement, and had his back, and going back to you know people having each other's back and like really believing
Yeah,
in
it's the same thing as Boji and Kage. It's the
yeah,
exact same thing as Boji and Kage. But this is in. You know what? I kind of appreciate that this is in the show because it's an inversion of that,
yeah,
right? When the one person is in your corner, even if it's like first, like let's say you're doing so good, people are pushing you in one way, trying to mold you into something that you're not, but one person tells you, man, it's okay to be you.
yeah, yeah,
That shit. You're like, you know what, man, I'll go to bat for you because you believe in who I am.
yeah,
Which is what Optics is. So I do appreciate that he's like a contrast to Boji's and Kage's relationship.
yeah.
It shows how it can go wrong. If obviously your motivation is not in the right spot. But he was
Because he got taken
man.
advantage of. Yeah, I mean they
He
all
got
do.
taken advantage of. Yeah, he got taken. Yeah, exactly. But he's still a bitch.
Well, where does
Yeah,
this
I
hate?
love the
Where
My
beef.
where's
fault,
this?
guys.
No, you good. Where
That's
does
all
this
good, bro.
hate for Appies comes from?
Bro, I hated like how much he was so wishy washy in the end. It's like, dude, he
Okay.
he kept going from Aranjo's side, even though like, and healing fucking healed this nigga. Um, and I
Yeah,
think he fought. I think he fought Darushi or one of them for Moranjo, right?
yeah.
In front of the Queen healing, and so now bro, he was gonna watch healing and shit get murked by the dogs in the courtyard if I remember. So no, he's a absolute bastard, bro. And
That's
then
fair. That's
healing,
fair.
and then healing healed him. She used the last of his power to heal this piece of shit. And I don't know if he switched up then or if he went back to their side, but I don't like him. But I understand him though. Is my point.
Fair, fair, fair.
But all we really said was that Apis and his Miranda's belief in him and like letting him be who he is, a fragile guy. It kind of mirrors and contrasts Boji and Kage's relationship, right? In that
Yeah.
the one person who believes in you, no matter like if they're pushing you in a bad way, you go to bat for them no matter what, even if it pushes you to do bad things, right? So that was really our talk about Apis. If you have anything to add, you know, you ever
All right, sorry, guys.
it's
I'm
all
still
good, bro.
settling back into my headset. My
No,
fault.
it's all good. Did you hear what I said at all the last 30 seconds?
Nah, not the last like 10 seconds I missed. Sorry.
Okay, no, but basically, yeah, we just saw that it was nice that Apis and Miranjo, how she believed in him and let him be soft and fragile, like when he couldn't fight the Griffin, excuse me. Like she was like, it's okay to be soft. You are who you are. It's not everyone is the most resilient, like hard body person ever,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's okay. And so we were
Yeah,
talking about
yeah.
how that contrasts Boji and Kage's relationship. How the one person who believes in you, if everyone's trying to mold you into something that you're not, you can take that one person who believes in you, even if they're kind of pushing you to do some questionable things. It's like, but they believed in me, so I'm gonna pay it back and believe in them. That's
yeah.
kind of what Optis was in. We agreed he was being taken advantage of, but I still think he's a bitch though.
Yeah, well, that's like what you're loyal to. This applies to like a lot of stuff in life. There's a lot of people who they don't like. Someone, for example, doesn't have a father figure, right? And they got somebody who steps into their life who maybe isn't a good influence, but they tell them, "Yo, got your back." You know, they tell you to do some dumb shit. They push you to do dumb shit, whatever. Aren't a good influence, get you in some bad circles. But when someone fucks with you, they don't let them fuck with you,
Yeah.
type
Yeah,
thing, and tell you you're the man and shit like that. And that's, I guess, you see that sort of loyalty, like you said, same way Boji is loyal to Kage, even though Kage is actually not a bad influence at all. He just follows Boji's example.
Mhm.
But it's the opposite. Like,
Kage had. Speaking of influences, Kage, because you saw his backstory, he had bad influences. I mean, like
uh huh.
he was a little kid that lost his mom, this little shadow
That's the
guy, in this fucking being taken advantage of by this
yeah,
by just a random dude, right? Like
That's the perfect example though, because he loved that guy. You saw it. All he wanted to do was
he
like hold
did.
his hand while he's sleeping, despite the fact this guy treated him like shit, gave him garbage to eat, and made him do his bidding and rob people basically.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's the only thing he had as in terms of family and someone in his corner. So he still like cared deeply for this guy who just treated him like shit. And that's
Yeah, that
exactly
really
that's
was a
exactly
perfect
the
example.
example. I forgot about that.
Yeah, me too, actually. But yeah, that was actually a perfect example. So yeah, Apis, like as much as I fucking hate him, I understand him. You know, I think that's the most important thing the show is trying to push you people to get is that you can absolutely hate people, and they can be people can be absolutely abject, terrible motherfuckers. But as long as you try to understand them, that's the most important thing. You know.
Yeah.
So I think Apis is a good example of that. He's not a terrible, absolute piece of shit. I just think he's a bitch. But I understand why he's a
That's
bitch.
fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Um,
You watch it.
yeah.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah, but the big four were such great characters. You know,
Yeah,
I
they were.
wonder how they're gonna. I wonder how Boji's relationship with the kingdom is gonna look because I know he's going to make his own. So I guess that's basically him just saying, "We're done." You know,
I'm
like
gonna be a
I'm not
rival.
a
I'm gonna be
person.
a rival. That's what he said.
Yeah, it
He's
makes
gonna
sense,
be
right?
Kaida's rival, 100%, because it's
Oh
gonna
yeah,
be
without a
about
doubt.
actual ranking of kings has to come into
Yeah,
play
because the
sometime at
ranking of kings
ranking of
didn't
kings,
matter.
right?
Yeah. Because it didn't matter in season one that ranking of king shit like that shit literally didn't fucking matter at all. Except the end of season one, of course, right?
It was just at the like in the like this is the beginning. Like this is what it's about, and then like little you get little things here and there. Like you get we meet the number 2 king, right? Which was
Mm.
damn.
My man, Desaha, right? The underworld guy.
That's
That's my
yes.
guy, bro. Yeah,
Yeah,
Desaha.
bro.
Something's gonna happen with him because
Yeah,
whatever
because
he gets
he
out of the
became number
treasure
one,
room,
right?
He's
whatever
number
gets
1
out
at
of
the
that
end of it.
treasure room is gonna do something to him. I think
Yeah,
he's
and
gonna be
because
like
he's looking for something. Because the whole plan was to use, I think some ability of the people in the original kingdom to save Oken, the immortal thing, right?
yeah.
And
No, it was a
now
wish.
That shot.
It was a wish
It was a
for
wish.
the demon to
yeah,
ensure
yes, you're
the wish.
spitting it, and then someone used it, right? So yeah, and
To
then
free
Gog said,
That's
Moranjo.
that's
"Oh
it.
my God,
That
was
was
it?
what it was.
And
Yeah. Yeah,
Prince Daida used it to free Moranjo, and then was
was it
like, "I
Boji
love
or
you."
Daida?
No, it was Daida.
Okay, you just watched it, no. But
Yeah, it was Daida. Because then he's like,
yeah,
"I love you. I'm gonna marry this woman," and then you're like,
yeah,
"Oh,
that
what the
okay.
fuck?"
Now this is the
This is
controversial
what Bert.
episode here.
Yeah.
This is the
But
thing.
before we get to
One
that,
thing.
before we
What
get to that,
happened?
I just want to
Oh
say
yeah,
that
go ahead.
so yeah, so he now he's using the now is because that was the plan because I think that's how it could have been number one the whole time, but they were banking on the Devil's Wish to save
The
Oken,
brother.
but because now they're gonna use whatever something in the treasury to save him.
Okay.
So I wonder if he's gonna go. I bet he'll probably go crazy and then be a villain because he wasn't really a villain in the
No,
season.
he was chilling.
Yeah,
He was chilling.
But it's
so
gonna
I liked
be
him.
a conflict against him next for sure.
yeah, because he definitely is a fucking problem.
He definitely will be. And then like you said, like they're trying to save the brother because the brother is suffering from immortality, and he went crazy because of it, right?
Yeah,
Be-
I mean, it would be an interesting thing if he ends up giving up his sanity to save Oken.
So
Bro,
it's 3 brothers. It's Desha,
Desaha, Despa, and Oken. Yeah,
okay, and they overthrew their dad, right?
yeah, who was one of the gods.
Who was one like
And they're like half gods or whatever.
yeah, so he was like Hades type of way, like
Yeah. He
like
has some crazy abilities and shit. So yeah, and then Oken inherited his immortality, and that's what fucked him up.
yep. And
Yeah,
meanwhile, Desaha got the
got his
godly
like
power,
abilities and shit. Yeah,
and
and then
Despa
Despa
didn't get
got fuck
shit.
all. Yeah,
Didn't get shit.
but he's the smartest one though.
He
So
is
mhm.
he
yeah.
which was awesome to see because like I thought he was gonna be an OD like character. He is an OD character, but like super strong and stuff. Like when we first made him, but nah, yo, this guy was getting his ass whooped. Yo, he knows what to do in situations, but he just can't physically do them, which is kind of why he relates to Boji and was able to mentor him so well. But in
Mhm.
actuality, Boji can do you know certain things,
He
and
has superpowers, yeah. Which is
right,
like you said, it's a perfect example that he doesn't like Despot got the short end of the stick compared to his brothers,
yeah,
but he made do with it, which is why he could teach him so well. Man, the show's so good. Show's so
absolutely.
fucking good.
And
Yeah, now we can talk about Miranjo because she's obviously the main villain.
Miranjo,
Yeah,
yes,
And
the
she's
mirror.
an interesting character too, man.
yeah,
It's like, and
Yo,
we're
she
gonna
went through some
learn more
shit,
about
bro.
the Devil Boy. We're
yeah,
gonna learn more about the Devil Boy. I mean, her backstory with her mom,
That was fuck. That was crazy.
all that stuff.
Absolutely,
She was
absolutely
a
heartbreaking, bro.
witch
Yeah.
who was a good person, but like people were afraid of magic or whatever, right? Am I
Mhm.
bugging? That was the story, right? The
Yeah,
townspeople
yeah,
didn't like.
yeah, and I think they made a deal with their original magic town got attacked by the gods and they lost, and then so they were refugees in another town, and the new town that took them in took a deal with the gods to kill them all and sell them out. I
Yeah.
think if I remember
That's what it
correctly.
was. Yeah,
Yeah. So
that
yeah,
shit
and he
was
got
interesting.
sold out. That shit was fucking. It was fucking brutal, you know. And then that's when so Daida sees all that stuff happen
Bro,
in
but
his
not just that,
in
but
his mind. And
they
shit.
did some fucked up shit. Did they cut off her hands and they skinned her
Yeah,
face? What is that
they
shit? That's
that's
OD.
fucking terrible, man. It's
That, oh my goodness. I was like, yo, what the fuck? Like,
it's it's just fucked up.
you know like when you know those Disney fairy tales, right? Like Snow White, Seven Dwarfs.
Uh huh.
And then when you actually find out what it's actually based off of, and then you're like, yo, that's way fucked up because like the actual lore that is darker than what Disney presents or what you grew up with. Same thing happened to me with this anime, bro. Like you're just like, yo, this shit's a lot darker than fucking than you expect. Like
Hmm.
that was crazy, bro. I was just like, yo, how could people do that to a little girl? And then she was still
It's
alive.
fucked up.
Bro, I was just nah. Nah.
And no, that
Yep.
was wild. And then like you see her relationship with Boss taking her in,
Yep.
and like so you see why that is important.
That's true.
There's a lot of that gravitating towards someone who got your back.
Yeah.
Seems to
Yeah,
be a big string
And
tying this whole thing
that's
together.
true. And that's why
yeah.
Bose went to bat for her, like and because she
And
went
he
to bat
uses a
for
bat
him.
as his weapon. I see
ha-
what you did there, Mr.
Hey,
G.
I did not mean to do
I
that on
see what you
purpose, yo.
did.
It just comes naturally. You already know.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Dude, it's all the One Piece connections, man. But
Yeah.
and that's another thing. Like Boss deals with, right, is the guilt of killing her dad and shit. So that relationship was interesting. You know, I
But
really thought that was an interesting
that was
relationship.
before he became a pops, no, right?
Yeah, yeah. He knew Miranjo before his wife, I think.
So like
And now
go
go
ahead,
ahead.
go ahead, Verdi.
I was gonna say, and that's interesting because it ties into big reveal of confirming why Boji doesn't have any strength,
That
Yeah,
was
which is because
crazy, bro.
yeah, no, it was
bro.
just crazy to see that it's because like he took his unborn son's strength. That was the deal that Boss made, which was
Bitch
when
ass
Boji's
nigga, bro.
born, he's gonna be born with no strength, and Boss will have it.
Bro,
Yeah,
that
you
shit.
know what
And
fucked me
that's
up was
crazy.
when Daida gets his body taken and Boss wakes up in his body and he says, "So I've sacrificed another son," and that was before we got the reveal that
Yep,
Another son's
Boji
strength,
lost
yeah.
him. Yeah, we didn't know that at the time,
we
but
didn't know that.
he just all he said was that I sacrificed another son, and
Oh
so
yeah, that's what it is.
that was like it's like what does he mean sacrifice? Because Boji's
Yeah,
still
so
here.
when he said that, at first I thought he meant this.
Like,
I thought he was saying, "Oh, I sacrificed the wrong one. Like I sacrificed a different one, like an other son from the
Oh
one
yeah,
I
oh I get what you
originally
mean. Okay,
wanted."
yeah,
Because you
yeah.
know
I see
when
what you mean.
he appointed Boji as the
That's
king,
the
So
king.
then,
Yo,
he was
that's a
like,
good thought process,
"Oops."
honestly.
that's true.
But I don't think
Yeah,
that's what he meant, as we know later on. He just meant
yeah,
he
yeah.
sacrificed Boji's strength before, so now I sacrificed Dada's body.
Bro, I was because I didn't think they were being. I didn't think they told us what was gonna happen when he drank the potion or whatever. And then said, "I've sacrificed another son." Bro, my jaw fucking dropped. I was like,
Bro,
that was also the first day I watched this show. It was like I got to like episode 1 to like 7 or 8 in one sitting, and I was like it was some cursed ass time in the AM, and I had class in like 4 hours. So I'm like, I have to go sleep, but I don't want to, bro. Oh my goodness, dude.
Yeah, that's tough.
Fuck boss, man. But yeah, Miranjo and his relationship was like super interesting, and it was like outside of his family relationship. And honestly, the family relationship was almost like a means to an end. I
yep.
feel like in some senses because it obviously got him the kids to have their plots, bring boss back to life or whatever. Um, and obviously, it was part of the deal to take his son's strength. So yeah, boss did them niggas so dirty, bro, man. Rotten hell, nigga.
But the thing though, at the same time, I feel like I don't know. I feel like he had ulterior motives though. Still, like he was still like plotting in a way. You know what I mean? Like I think his whole thing is to kill the demon, right? To somehow break that curse that he had, that contract that he made with the demon, so that Boji could get that to get his strength back. But that doesn't end up happening, or it can end up happening later on. I don't know, because people can come back to life. Like they have shown people in the afterlife in this series. So I definitely
Yeah,
believe it's
yeah,
a
he's
possibility.
cooked. Yeah, I think uh fuck, I want to say something, but it's completely slipped my mind now. The more I try to think about it, the more I forget
I
it.
But no,
know
but
how it
like you were
be.
saying though, the him taking stealing Boji's strength, like being the reason why Boji is how he is ridiculous. And but then also that goes to show how ridiculous fucking Boji is because he has such a big disability and he's still now he's thriving, like he's doing his thing.
Yeah, it's really the beauty of the show is that I think one of the real messages is that like no matter what your circumstances are, like if you just push through, you'll find
Yeah.
strength you didn't know you had, right? And in unconventional ways too. So yeah, but so to get to Bert's controversial point about Miranjo in that
Ooh.
she did all these terrible things, and we talk about how trying to understand someone is an important message in this anime. Trying to understand someone, give them the benefit of the doubt. And then I like another quote that I really like is that we judge ourselves by our intentions, but other people by their actions, right? I love that quote. I think the show is one of the things that's trying to push that message a little bit. So Miranjo does all these very terrible things, and
She did.
in the end, Daida, who was maybe one of the most affected by her decision in the end, decides to forgive her and everything she did. And even he says,
Now,
I know you guys won't agree with me, but I still forgive her and I want to make things better for her. Please marry me, blah blah blah.
Bro.
Um,
no. So my
nah.
issue with that isn't even have to do with Miranjo.
Okay.
Okay.
This is my thing. It's never brought up. It's never mentioned to Boji. It's never mentioned to anyone else. This thing that Domas did to Boji is this horrible thing that Boji's super conflicted on, and it gets some shine. It's never mentioned again that Daida is the one who told him to kill Boji. Daida asked to get Boji killed. Boji doesn't know it. Boji goes to bat for Daida and tries to help him. And
Mhm.
then Daida is not, in my opinion, he's not in a position where he's really redeemed or atoned for anything. And he's now like forgiving someone who was behind even the worst stuff that happened to Boji and them. And I
Facts.
don't think he's been put in a position in the story to really be forgiving anyone because he hasn't atoned himself. I don't think
Yeah,
he
that's not
has
his
like
fault.
gotten to the good guys fully yet. And that's the thing that bothered me most about that episode. It wasn't just the marrying Miranjo thing was a little weird and like probably they could have done like
Bizarre.
a couple episodes to build that up maybe.
Agree. Agree. It
But
didn't.
yeah,
It
him
didn't.
just like jumping in. Sorry, go ahead. My
It, did,
fault.
it did- no, no, you good. It didn't give me like a relation, like a love type of thing at first, but I could see him falling in love for her for like what happened. It definitely gave me a Trunks and my vibe from Dragon Ball Super. I'll tell you that much. Cause,
Oh
cause
yeah,
Maranjo's probably OD old, really.
that's what I was. That's another thing, but I guess it's depicting another time or whatever. But anyway,
Hey, it's medieval
um,
times. That shit ain't matter back then.
That is
yeah,
true.
that's
That
what
is
I'm
true.
I guess.
yeah, but it's hard to say that. That sounded like a weirdo.
Yeah, I strike that from the record. That's not like how I meant
Yeah,
that.
yeah, none of us said anything.
You know what I'm saying?
Yo, Mister tried to get us on some crazy shit, bro. But anyway, yeah, no, I think I think you're spitting, bro. As much as I love Daida, and I think he's my favorite character, maybe next to Boji and Kage, of course. Like he all his only growth we saw it was his mental growth in watching Miranjo's past, right, and Boss. But we have yet to see him do anything. He didn't amend, he didn't atone for anything. Um,
Didn't apologize to Boji.
he didn't apologize to Boji. He acknowledges him and he recognizes him as the strongest. But like
And I mean, I think, but I feel like
I don't know.
to him, relinquishing the crown is him apologizing and like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
admitting to
That was a
to
big
his
thing
wrong.
for sure.
Cause like
That's,
remember, this is a royalty. Like him doing something that big is huge.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
mm,
for sure. But and I guess like but that to me
Not that
makes it seem like the big wrong he did is taking the throne from Boji. When I don't think that's the big wrong. I think the big wrong was trying to get Boji killed, and
agree.
that's never
yeah,
addressed. That's never
Yeah,
addressed. Like Boji doesn't even know that
yeah,
Daida made
yeah.
him do it, as far as I know.
that's
So
true.
like
Mm.
that's something that's like unresolved. That like I mean, if you know me, like I'm not good with leaving shit like unfinished, unresolved. That shit like builds up in my head. So like that doesn't sit too well
I think it's
with
definitely
me.
gonna. I mean, like with the continuation. So we're pretty much near the end of like we're talking about near the end of the series, right? So I feel like that could also lead into some tension between the two later on when Boji finally
Mhm.
Yeah.
sets up his kingdom, and like he expects Data to like help him and stuff, and then he hears this news like, oh, you try to get me killed, like what the fuck,
Oh,
like
that was you who did the worst thing I
Yeah,
went through.
and it could probably come from him like some sort of reconciliation with Domas, right? Where
yeah
like okay,
That's what I was gonna say.
when
Yeah.
they really get into it, and they really dive into what like how did that all happen, and Domas says I was an order from King Dada, not to excuse himself, of
Yeah.
course, but he just says that,
Oh, but it'd be like, I'm sorry, I was just doing what King Dada wanted. Like blah
yeah
blah.
and then he's like, oh shit, I didn't want to say that, and then it's like, oh, hears that, it
Uh,
fucks him up even more, blah blah blah, and then it can lead to like mixed conflict between their factions or whatever. So
yeah
man,
Good point.
so yeah, it's something that we gotta like let it rock for now and see where those things lie. Because that's another thing about watching a one season anime is that you just gotta hold shit a lot of the time.
Yeah.
the anime
But
is
it
That
did
that
good.
wrap up a
episode's the
lot of shit
one.
very well.
That's the one episode that like was a little iffy for me. But
Right.
it
Yeah,
still wasn't bad. It just wasn't like that little shit with Miranjo was a little weird. But other than that, man, like the series I thought was borderline flawless. Which brings us to the
yeah,
final episode, I think, which wrapped things up beautifully,
beautifully,
personally.
beautifully, 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 man. When and I like that it's because one thing we actually didn't get that much was like Kage and like his own issues. Like I feel like a lot of it was Kage bringing up Boji,
Yeah.
and obviously Kage gets smoked, and then you see. I don't know if he talked to his mom or if he just saw her, in like in the underworld or whatever.
Yeah.
When Miranjo saw her mom and Boji's mom,
He
I feel
talked
like
to
we
her.
could.
He talked to her because he was dying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she's, oh, I remember because she said, all right, you know what, you don't need me. I'll be waiting for you a long
Yeah.
time. Now. Don't come for years and years. Yeah, you're right,
Yeah.
you're right. Yeah. So I hope we get more of Kage and stuff like that, and understand more about the shadows and what happened to them niggas, other than just being hunted. Because I feel like there's so much you could go. But anyway, so yeah, so Kage had that uncertainty and lack of confidence in how much he meant to Boji and what had happened. So he bounced, right, but when Boji comes like flying out of the hill and he's like just zooming like Mario, dude. Oh man, that shit
Well,
in my heart, bro.
so not just that, the fact that Boji became king, and everyone knew that he was depressed because Kage left. You know, and I
Mm.
mean, it's okay. He was caught up with everything, and Kage thought, oh, he'd be better without me, which is clearly not true. Uh, but Boji relinquished in the crown and gave it back to Daida and went to go get his best friend. Like
Yep.
that shit was beautiful. And he said, "Yo, this is the start of our journey. We're gonna make our own kingdom." And now,
Hmm.
like, bro, it's off to the races because
Eh, Yeah,
like Desh is number one king, right now.
yeah.
We don't know who the rest of the other fucking kings are. So it's like, and we know Boss was 7.
Sheesh.
Oh, at that point, he used to
Uh,
be number one, but he was 7 like by the start of the series, right? Because he was
correct.
sick.
Yeah, and Daida was 90, if I'm not mistaken, because
Mhm.
Daida did test.
Yeah, he fell off. Yeah, they came through and they're like, yeah, you're not as strong as boss. Yeah.
But you know what they did? If you remember, it was like after Oji's training, and Boss was talking to Miranjo in the mirror. It was like, "Can you show me who's the
Who's the
strongest
strongest?
person in the
And
world
it
right
was
now?" And it was Boji. It
motherfucking
didn't show it, but he said,
Boji.
"Oh, that's interesting."
Yep. That
Uh,
was cool. That was cool. So like, what do you guys what do you guys think will happen in the future? And if there's a season 2.
I really don't know. I actually have no idea where it can go. Like,
yeah, this is definitely an unpredictable series because I really didn't know what was going to happen day to day, episode to episode in this.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's definitely going to be uh, Kage and Boji coming across different kingdoms, and there will be a lot of like side stories, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like there will be the main thing overhead, which is Desha and his situation, and the Oaken thing, um, and then whatever create forms of that. I think that'll be brewing in the background, and that'll probably be in direct conflict more with Daida and the original kingdom. And I think Boji and Kage are going to be unaware of that a little
That's
bit,
fair.
and they'll be
Yeah.
going on adventures probably through like a couple different kingdoms, and like they'll come across a kingdom where things are unjust and the people are treated bad, but whatever, and like they like save different areas, come across different people, whatever. And then towards the end, I would assume of the next season, they get wind of what's really brewing. They end up back there for some kind of fight or something.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's really all gonna come to a head because there's a lot of like there's a few like strands still going right. I wonder where the idea of the demon will come into play because we have to learn more about the demon boy, just
Ooh.
like Bert said. But I wonder through who we're gonna get that. Is it gonna be Daida and Miranjo? Is it gonna be like is it gonna be Boji? You know?
That's a good
Yeah,
point because we know that
That's
when you ask
true.
the demon starts as like a little boy, but if you ask him
That's what
for
starts
favors,
growing.
for wishes,
Yeah.
yep, he turns into this ugly demon he didn't want to. So because of Miranjo asking for his wishes to help Boss, he turned into this demon.
Yeah, that
So
demon
there's a
looking
whole.
that demon
Okay.
looking like the devil from Powerpuff Girls, yo.
Him.
Yeah, like I don't know if I don't man, that's the first thing I thought. I was like, "Oh shit, that motherfucker looks like the devil from Powerpuff Girls."
that's the
I
first thing
didn't
you
even
thought
make
when you
that
saw him in
connection. That's
episode three
hilarious.
when Boss died, dude. I was fucking terrified,
I
bro.
was terrified too, but I was like, "Damn, I've seen this motherfucker before, yo." I was like, "Yo,
hmm
this shit terrifying, bro." He was OD.
Yeah, that
Oh
shit.
man,
Yo, what's the first thing he did? He looked at Boji, pointed at
and
him,
he
and laughed.
laughed.
He
And
laughed at
I
him.
didn't even think about this until right now, but he's literally just laughing at the fact that he took his strength. Oh, that's
Yeah,
fucked up.
yeah. So I think Boji gonna beat his ass and get that strength back, bro. It's
But that's
crazy.
gonna be another great character, and then Daida's gonna marry him too, or something.
Oh man, that is marrying
I
everybody.
don't know.
My goodness.
Someone's gonna marry him after he's forgiven because he was just a sad little boy who was forced to become a demon or something. I don't know, man.
Yeah, they go. But yo, he was fucking terrifying though, man. Like when
Scary.
Miranjo like gets her soul eaten and like she's in there, and this nigga is
Yeah, the way
tearing
he's
niggas up in
munching
there.
on. Yeah,
And
but
then
he's
he's like
spitting them out, and
regurgitating. Oh yeah, same fucking thought process, bro. That shit was literally terrifying,
that
bro.
was
It
some
was
Eclipse shit right
scary.
there. That was some
Yeah,
Eclipse
yeah,
shit
it
right
was
there.
legitimately like horrifying
It
and
was. It
like
was. It was.
scary as fuck. Yeah,
That
man.
was such a crazy depiction of hell, bro. Like your soul is just
Yeah,
getting munched and then spit out and then munched on again.
that shit
Oh my
was fucking
god.
terrifying, bro. There's just no better way to put it. It was legitimately horrifying and scary. I was like actually shook watching that shit. But yeah, we'll definitely get to know more about him. And there's a lot of manga left, so um,
Word. That's good to
um,
hear.
And it's
I'm
ongoing.
curious. Yeah, it's still
Oh,
going right. I think
word.
right now it's not complete or anything, which is a good and bad thing. Because I want to get to the end and I want to see everything that happens. But I'm glad there's a lot to enjoy. You know.
I might start
Yeah, I'm
reading
not
it.
gonna read that manga. I'm just gonna.
Definitely
It's
not.
one of
Definitely
these.
not. It's the
I'm gonna
anime's
watch
too
it.
good, man.
I might read it.
Honestly,
We'll see.
hot take, but like I didn't. I stopped reading the Attack on Titan manga when I was reading it. Like after the first season came out, I was reading it to like keep up to date. And at some point, like when they got to the when you saw like what's his name, Rainer and them in the trenches, like when they went back to their like home, whatever, a little bit. The plot start after they made it to the basement, basically after Aaron and them made
Okay.
it to the basement. Things just got so convoluted, waiting a month and a half. And the anime, I
Yeah,
just think, is so much better. I think the Attack on Titan anime, personally, is just a better way to enjoy it than the manga. I just stopped reading it back then, and
Good
like
to
I just
hear.
haven't gone
Word.
back since. So I
yeah.
still don't know how it ends.
Oh yeah, you'll see in
Uh,
the new season.
I'm excited
But
to join the controversial discussions because everyone's like,
yeah. Oh man, I'm so curious what you think of the ending. Actually, holy shit,
yeah,
I really want. Wow, knowing this guy's culture opinion, I'm very curious as to what you'll think. Have I said what I think? Do you know my side? Which side I'm on?
nah,
I
I
just
have no
curious.
idea what
Okay,
that
cool.
there are
We'll keep it.
sides.
We'll keep it that way. I'm not
I don't
gonna.
watch Attack on Titan. So
You,
Oh
you
shit!
are lacking. You are lacking, my guy. But
I
anyway,
Watch it, don't read it. Watch it, don't read it.
yeah,
In
watch
my
the
opinion.
anime.
I
But
will.
like so fuck again. I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, I remember.
It'd be like
My
So the
ADD
thing
gets
about
us off track. I'm
the
sorry.
thing about ranking of kings. Oh, it's okay. The thing about ranking of kings is that like so there's like a few anime I have in my goat tier in terms of like anime I just think are just way too good, and even if they're not my favorite, because my favorite anime is Code Geass, and I think Code Geass is a show that has a lot of flaws, but I love it so much. It's still my favorite. But anyway, there are shows
it's a
that I
good
think are just
series.
like there are shows that I think are like just like if someone asks me what the Go anime is, I'll probably say like Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood or Hunter x Hunter or something like that, right? Those kind of anime. I just think Ranking Kings is like right up there, dude. It's
Oh,
so
I agree.
good and it's just such
It's
a
in my
beautiful
top five.
story. Yeah, it's
It's in
it's
my
in, it's in
top
my top 5 10, and it's just and honestly, the only reason it's not like top 1 or 2 is because I love Cookie too much. But there are some anime that are like so fucking. I feel like there's so little bad to say about the first season of Ranking Things that it's just, bro, it's up there with Fullmetal Alchemist in my opinion. It's
I
so
agree.
good.
I
It's so good.
Yeah, for me it would be it's One Piece, Yu Yu Hakusho. I would put then Haikyuu because I'm a volleyball guy,
There you go.
and then I would definitely put Ranking of Kings up there, and then Full Metal.
Yeah.
I think so.
You know, Full Metal, that's something my brother loved as a kid. So, like I said, my brother was way more into anime and manga. Like, I definitely like it, but it's not like my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah.
But he watched and he always loved Full Metal growing up. It was his favorite. And then when I watched it, I want to say I was 26 when I watched Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, like from beginning to end for the first time. And I got to the episode where with the dog and the
Okay.
girl,
Yeah, bro, that shit.
and my
But,
my girl at the time hadn't watched it, and she like sat down with me like when I was watching the episode, and she was
oh
like, "What is
no.
this show?" And I was like, "All right, we got to start over and watch from the beginning together." And
Oh my.
that anime is a masterpiece for sure. And
Yeah,
I didn't
It
expect
exactly.
it
is.
because
It is.
I often don't like shonen. I don't like animes. Does that make sense?
It does.
Like I don't
Hold on.
like typical style animes a lot, but like this one, and I expected this to be just like a tropey like anime, and it wasn't at all. And it
No.
was so fucking good, man.
Yeah.
Fullmetal
And
Alchemist is amazing, and Ranking
and
of
I
Kings
think
just blew me away.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I think what like you said right there, tropes. I couldn't tell you a trope that I saw in Ranking Kings that was super animate. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I felt like I was watching a TV show or reading a book or something like that. Um,
Which was
it just
fantastic.
it subverted, yeah, it subverted some expectations. And that's like the beauty of it. Like that, I keep coming back to that thing Bert said that the childhood book in anime format and it was like a mature story, right?
Mm.
That's how I felt. I felt like I was watching a Ghibli movie. I think Bert said that too. It's like so.
It's
It's
true.
he really is spitting. It's such a great feeling. That is like one of the best anime I've ever watched in my life, man. Oh, I can't listen to it.
Oh man. Like not just that, but like I said, like you compare it to those goats, and then like how I said before, how you Boji gave me that sense of Link. Link is part of the Zelda franchise, and that's a good series in my opinion. So
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, bro, like I was just all about it, bro. Like from the get go, I was like, and just the storytelling throughout the whole series was fantastic. Each episode, the moment it ended, you're like, fuck, I need to watch the next episode.
Yep.
Every single time. There was not one episode my girl and I when we were watching it, we were like, the episode ended, we were like, yo, the episode was fast as fuck. What the fuck? And next thing you know, we were like, yo, we got to keep watching. Like
Next one.
that's
You know the 20 minutes flew by every
flew
time,
by
right?
like this, and
Yep.
that's how you know when like a medium the storytelling in a medium is good because it's going through that time, telling a story, and you're just enthralled in it. You know, like
Yeah. Enthralled. Great word choice, by the way.
thank you.
Yeah. Really, like there's no better way to put it. It was just simply like every episode flew by, and I was like, wow, that I
it's
have to get to the next one.
it's
And
how I
I'm
felt when
jealous.
I
I'm jealous. You got to see the end of it without having to wait because me and Bert were caught up for the last like 7 episodes personally.
bro. I think that's the way to go, man. Like you just let it build it, but then you have to avoid spoilers. Luckily, I
Yeah.
avoided spoilers, but like I still have to watch season 2 of Demon Slayer. I'm excited to to go through that, like and everything else. Like I just prefer
Hmm.
binging, like going through it all at once than waiting week per week. Like right now I'm
Yeah.
watching Moon Knight. That
Yeah.
shit's
The show's fire.
that shit's OD.
And I think it's funny. I think there's actually an interesting conversation about the idea of watching something, binging it, or watching it like as it's coming out. I think for manga and anime, like sometimes it depends, right? I feel
Yeah,
like One Piece is obviously one of the greatest stories ever written. But I also feel like reading it week to week and getting hyped with the dogs every week, theorizing, talking about the newest chapter, reacting every fucking week, time over time. I feel like that might make it even better.
especially at 12 p.m. on Sundays over at twitch.tv uh /Cali_Mac for the Straw
Yes,
Hat Sit
sir.
Down.
Yes,
Just putting
sir.
that out there.
Yeah, a complete unrelated podcast. But so yeah, so
It'll be fire when I'm caught up. I definitely want to listen to y'all talk
Oh,
about that.
bro, by all means,
yeah,
you
you
could
can
join us too.
and yo, we're definitely gonna have like anime only parts. Like we might talk about Drum Island and stuff like that.
I
So
definitely want to. Definitely.
or we'll watch movies in the anime that are earlier on that you'll be able to talk about at home, and we won't be talking about spoilers or whatever. So I'll let you know when we do that, Bert.
I would definitely, yeah, I definitely want to, because there's weeks where we could definitely, because I know people have been asking me. They're like, all right, you're up to date with One Piece, but what about the people that are not up to date? You know, like I feel like we're starting to build up a following that we can do that. Like give them like a
Yeah, we can move
Eureka,
away a little bit.
you
Yeah,
know,
and
just
even people who are caught up will be one. Anyway, this is getting away from Point Blank games. I
true,
know
true, true.
my man Bert is
Yeah,
here for. But yeah, all in all, I just thought that shit was like. I think like I said, I watched a ton of anime. I've read a ton of manga. But I never have ever in my life watched something like Ring of Kings. I don't think I ever will either.
yeah.
So yeah, in my opinion, it's a clear 10 out of 10,
Oh
and
yeah.
I cannot wait for more. I'm glad Bert put me on. Thank you, Bert. You never miss, bro.
Oof, oof,
That's for my
oof.
Never.
brother. I can't even take credit for this one, but thank you. I appreciate the high
Yo,
praise.
Bert and his brother, yo, Whitehus, thank you guys, Pam,
No
Kevin,
worries.
thank you guys for putting me on this series. The series, absolutely fantastic, blew me away. It gave me that sense of adventure that I left with watching Lord of the Rings. I absolutely love the Lord of the Rings series. After watching the first one in theaters, I was just like I said before, enthralled. Like that series enthralled me, and that's how I felt with Ranking of Kings. That's how I feel with One Piece. Like those, like that. That's
I
why I
was gonna
love
say, yeah.
like these series. They world build. They the characterization, like all that stuff. It's just it's done so well, and the animation amplified it, especially this version.
Yeah.
Like
The adaptation, this ranking of adaptation was just a masterpiece, man. They did it. So I'm telling you, like Mister, you say you're gonna read the manga, but look at the manga and then tell me that again. I'm saying.
all right, I'll definitely DM you. But thank you guys for joining. I think you guys good, or anything else
Yeah,
you want
That's
to
all I
say?
had to say, man.
All right.
watch Ranking of Kings if you haven't.
Yes, please
That's
watch it.
I feel like it would be too late. We just told
It
them the whole story.
Yeah.
it's on Crunchyroll. It's on, I believe, also on Hulu, if I'm not mistaken. But
Oh,
Yeah,
definitely go
please,
watch it.
please.
It's 23 episodes, and
yeah.
you
It's
will
like
have a
25
blast.
minutes. Yeah,
You
yeah.
you will have a blast, man. Also another show that you guys should watch. Our Flag Means Death over on HBO Max. Definitely check out
Oh,
that show.
dope.
It's
Hell
10
yeah.
episodes. Yo, it's fantastic. Directed by Tikai Watiti.
Oh yeah.
The cast is OD. Just all about it. It's about pirates as well. So
So,
definitely check that out. Uh, did you guys like doing this? Because we could definitely do another series.
I had a great time. I had a great
Yeah,
time, man.
Hell yeah. This was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me on. I don't really do
of
these
course.
often.
No
No, I
worries,
mean,
bro.
yo, since I started doing the podcast, like this is all gonna go on YouTube, whatever. You know, people doing this out there. You know what I mean? Like talking about their favorite things. Why can't we? We should be doing the same thing too.
Yeah, I
Like,
think it's also good. My favorite thing is like when I think about how long I've been reading One Piece, like 8 years, I think, nine almost. It's like I wish I could take a video of what I was thinking and feeling when I read certain chapters or arcs. You know what I'm saying? And I like
okay,
that. That's what it is for the Straw Hat Sit Down, right? And here I have a reminder of how I felt about season one, and then
yeah,
when season two comes out and we talk about that, we can look back at this and think about how we felt and what we thought was gonna happen. You know what I'm saying?
definitely.
That's like one of my favorites. It's like a time capsule.
It
It's very
is.
cool.
No, exactly. That's exactly what it is, and that's what I want to what I want to build. And so like, if you guys want to think of a series we could do next, I'm definitely down. Definitely down.
I think another good thing that was like about this was that it was like organic. You know, we all just happened and watched it,
Yeah.
and then we loved it so
Hmm.
much. We want to talk about it. So I think that was the beauty of it. I wouldn't want to make like a recurring series about like things we have to feel like we have to pick something and talk
No.
about it. I like
No.
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's what the Straw Hat Sit Down I feel like is for me. But this was super fun, and I'm glad I talked to Bird. I feel like I haven't talked to Bird in like a month and a half on VC. So
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
the last time I talked to Verdi was when I saw him at Bum's birthday
Yeah.
jeez,
bash.
It was a while ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
when was that? Was that in April?
That
it
was
was
in
April
April.
2nd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm
That's
I'm
crazy.
walking I'm walking way better than I was before. So.
That's awesome to hear. Yo,
Let's
Heat
go.
Wave.
Heat
We're all
wave
playing ball.
basketball. Yes, I rather do.
Yeah.
Honestly, I rather play ball than play in the tournament. That's just me, right? That's just me
Yo,
right
I'm not
man,
now.
gonna lie to
I
you.
hope that I hope
Whatever
they nerf
day,
Labco by then. That's it.
whatever day Dragon Ball isn't, that day let's just all play ball because no one's trying
I'm
to
cool.
watch Drive, right?
I'm cool with it.
I think I'll go both days. That's the thing. I think what I was gonna say was that I'll try to come early because I know guys in Europe are gonna
Okay,
come
good.
like Thursday and Friday, or maybe stay on by Monday, right?
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
was
yeah.
thinking Friday night or Thursday night, niggas could like, we had talked about maybe putting in bread for a gym or whatever like that. I don't know how much they cost. We should get some research
If we
on
could
that.
get 10 people or more, it would be worth it for us to split
Yes,
for like renting out
Bro,
a.
and we
and
definitely are gonna we're gonna get
easy.
more than 10.
Bro,
Like I actually think we're gonna have to cap it at like 15 or 20.
our
Oh
three
no,
of
no
us.
more than 15. 15 is like the absolute.
Yeah,
max.
exactly. Like so we're definitely gonna get more than 10, 50. Like so we'll have to cap it.
So
My
you
point
got
is.
we got the three of us. You got fucking Denpai,
Empire, his boy Sync, IRAM, that's 6 right there.
Cali
I'm
Mac.
sure I'm Cali Mac, that's 7. Like we're gonna get, and then a random other niggas. It'll be more.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get. I actually got blessed recently. So it's looking like even more likely that I'll come through. So
Word.
Nice.
Let's go. You coming with your brother, right?
hopefully, yeah, me and my
Hopefully.
brother gonna come through.
That's what's
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
That's what's up.
But
Alright.
yeah, man, I'm so excited.
All right, yo. You know what? Let me close out the stream. Yo, stream. Thank you guys for joining me. It will be up on YouTube shortly. Whitehus, Verdi. Thank you guys for joining me and doing
No
this.
worries, my brother.
You know, we'll
Thanks,
definitely
man.
talk about doing some more stuff. Cause this shit's fun, bro. Like I enjoy it.
100%, super
Hell
fun.
yeah.
And then we could always go back, like you guys said. We could always go back, and if there's things that we forget, whatever, we'll just update it. So,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
all right.
Thank you for having us, man.
Of course, y'all have a good night. Good night? No, good day. It's still
It's
light
dark
out.
outside.
God
This
damn.
is fucking clouds.
It's fucking 1:30. It's so dark out there. Shit.
Oh wow, it's beautiful here for fucking once. Oh my god,
man,
for
screw you.
once, dude.
Ass down here, Hus. Y'all
Bro,
took out good weather.
bro, we had
Yes.
snow 3 weeks
Later,
ago, bro.
man.
So
Later, stream.
anyway, man.
Peace.
Because that stream, but yeah, no, it's fun.